Everyone on my team takes improv, an improv class, honestly, because it's really, really important. Because improv teaches you the power of yes. There are no no's. You can't say the word no in any improv situation or scenario ever. Just like you can't really say no in sales. They're kind of the same thing. And improv opens up your mind. It makes you think on your feet. It makes you react positively in funky, uncomfortable situations. And here's how improv works. It starts with a general question, and you have to keep the situation, scenario, or conversation going by saying yes and. You can never say the word no because that completely kills the scene. So for example, if I'm talking to you and I say to you, oh my goodness, it's raining dogs and I need your umbrella, can I use it? If you say, it's not raining dogs, that's physically impossible, and no, you can't use my umbrella, I got it from my sister, it's a personal gift, that kills the scene. You are now no longer talking to me, and you're weird for being that rude. Or you could say, I know, I just got hit by a poodle. I've got a special poodle-proof umbrella. Here's one for you. Do you need anything else? That keeps the scene going. Just like in sales, you're going to get hit with objections over and over and over. You're going to say to a client, this apartment is perfect for you. Do you love it? And they're going to say, nope. You're going to have to say, okay, but yes, and keep that conversation going because everyone is going to try to kill the scene, but because you're going to be prepared, because you've taken improv, because you understand the power of keeping conversations going, yes, and you will keep the deal alive. I know a lot of real estate agents that could have done a deal, but they let the conversation die. They could have just had that extra question, that extra phone call, that next email that kept the conversation going. But they didn't because they didn't know what to say. They were uncomfortable about the situation. They were awkward because they didn't know how to talk. And then the deal just died because the real estate agent, the salespeople in every sale are the lifeblood. We're the liquidity. We are the glue that keeps everything together because deals aren't set up to actually be put together. We're the ones who actually put them together every single day. And improv teaches you how to do that. Because every day, you're going to get objections. You're going to have a buyer walk into a home, and they're going to look like they like it, but they're going to say, yeah, I don't like the kitchen. Thank you so much for your time. And you could just say, okay, thank you, and say goodbye. Or you could say, what don't you like about the kitchen? You could ask a question, just like we did in improv. Keep the conversation going. And then they could say, well, it's just too old. And you could say, well, what about the age of the kitchen don't you like? Is it the kitchen cabinets? Is it maybe the appliances? Is it the color? Is it the tile? Get the client thinking. Get them to think on their feet as well to really help them understand what they don't like about something. Every objection you're ever going to get is just because they haven't really thought it through a lot and they don't really know why they're objecting to the situation in the first place. So if someone says, I don't like the kitchen, which is why I don't like the house, maybe they're nervous because they have to renovate the kitchen. They're thinking about the cost, and then they're thinking, oh my goodness, maybe the whole house needs a renovation, and now it's just too much, and it's not in our budget, so they walk out. By asking them those questions, you just figured out that the reason they don't like the kitchen is because their price point, their budget makes them uncomfortable, and they think the whole house is now going to be too expensive. So you can tell them that, hey, you know what? The house price is actually a little negotiable, and the seller is aware that the kitchen needs to be renovated, and so do the bathrooms, and I can work with you on that because I've already broken down the cost so that the total cost of the house plus the renovation is right within our current asking price. That's information that you never would have given to them had you not asked those questions and had they not kept the conversation going right along with you, and that's a skill that you just learned from improv. And it's a little uncomfortable, I know, but the more you do it, the more practice you have at it, the better you're going to get at moving conversations and moving deals forward. And you want to make sure as well that you don't ask questions anyone can ever say no to. So let's say you're meeting a client for the first time and you're talking to them on the phone. So instead of asking them, could you meet them tomorrow, which is a question that they could say no to, you phrase it differently, but you ask the same question. You say, is tomorrow at 9 a.m. or 6 p.m. better for you? It's really weird for someone to say no to that question. They might say, actually, neither work for me, but maybe lunchtime. Or they could say, actually, neither work for me tomorrow. Tomorrow's a really busy day. Okay, that keeps the conversation going. No problem. How's Tuesday? At 7 or Wednesday at 8. I can be there early before you go to work and maybe you drop off the kids at school. No. They're not going to say that. Eventually you will get to a time. And if they don't want to meet in person, maybe you'll set up a separate phone call. Maybe you'll do it by email, but at least you kept the conversation going. And that happens in my entire day, every day. And it's a muscle that you have to build. Do not ask questions anyone can say no to. Always get a yes and, just like we learned in improv. And it becomes so important when it comes to negotiating. Negotiating, and we're going to get to that. It's going to be in a separate video. We're going to do a whole demonstration. I'm going to call and do a real negotiation live on the phone for you. I hope it goes well. Negotiating is all about improv because you're going to have a buyer that wants their price and what they want. You're going to have a seller who wants their price and what they want. So they're both going to give you objections from both sides. So now it's not just one scene partner. You've got two, and you're in between both of them. And if you're dealing with another broker, now you've got three different scene partners all hitting you with objections all at the same time. And you're the one, because you've taken this course, because you've learned from me, because I'm your mentor, you're the one who knows how to keep the conversations going with all three at the same time by saying yes and figuring out how to keep things going. So for example, if you have a client who's really, really far off in price, you will talk to them about what makes them so scared about coming up. What's the fear? What's their wall, really? Why won't they come up in price? And if it is just budget, you don't want to lose them as clients. You might lose them on that property, but you'll keep them as clients and you'll sell them something else because you already have something else in your pocket that you can show them that is within their budget, that works, where the bathrooms don't need to be renovated, or that's in a better school district, or whatever the issue may be. And if you've got a seller who won't come down in price, instead of just saying, okay, and killing the deal right there, you're going to say, well, what about closing timeline? What if they close tomorrow? Would you sell for $50,000 less, $25,000 less? Well, sure. If they sign a contract by tomorrow, then that saves me real estate taxes for the month. And that saves me the gardening bill for next month. Little things like that to help people understand why they're giving you those objections. Just by asking them questions and keeping the conversation going will put deals together. You'll end up doing more deals. You'll make more money. You'll increase your 1099 and you will be more successful. And once you realize how improv works and you realize that it's a muscle, it makes every conversation you're going to have with a buyer, a seller, another broker, kind of a game. Everything is really an improvisation and you're figuring it out just like a game, how to keep it going forward, except in sales, every scene leads to sold. Remember that. So instead of always be closing, remember every scene leads to sold. And listen, I get it. I'm in New York City. There are improv teachers everywhere. I'm able to have them come to my office. Maybe you don't have that. And that's okay. But I don't want you to say, Ryan, I can't do this. There's no improv classes. It's too weird. And then just click over this. No. If you are going to be more successful, you are going to do this. I'm going to show you in the next video something I like to call the question game. It's something you can do without an improv teacher, without an improv class, without spending any extra money, from the comfort of your own home or your office. You can even do it with another agent, which would be awesome if they're taking this course with you. And it's the question game that'll help you understand how improv leads to more sales, how saying yes and keeping the conversation going leads to more deals, and how every conversation is a scene that leads to sold.